Hello guys, welcome back to algebra class here. Now, this time we are going to review about domain and range. So this part is about domain and range. Now, if you have a printer and printed this note, make sure to have highlighter with you. If you have not, just look at the question and try to if you can highlight it, okay? So I'll go over question on the left. It's your job to try question on the right. So question number 1. What is the domain of the linear function? So question is asking for the domain, and domain is x values, which is left and right. So if you look at multiple choice questions, there are two things that you can automatically cross out, which is B and D. Because domain is x values, we are going to only use numbers that we just highlighted here, okay? And this graph has these two endpoints, so let's put a line to this highlighted grid, and this one just touch here. So always we look at from the left to the right. We start from the left, which is -4. Now it's an open circle, so you're going to put open circle here. And this one, we end at 2, and it's a closed circle like this. And as you can see, this is the only option that we have. Now try question on the right by yourself. Should I give you an answer? I'll give you can cross these two out, and yeah, I'll just give you an answer. Make sure to do it by yourself because this one is for practice, okay? So this one, you should get this, right? Now, question number 3. What is the range of the function shown in the graph? So we are looking for the range. Range is bottom to top. So we're going to highlight the y values. And now, you see this endpoint. You're not going to draw a line like this. You are going to draw a line to this highlighted line here, okay? And this one does not have endpoint because this one has an arrow. It's keep going down. So let's do this. We are not starting from top to bottom. Always we start from the bottom. So lowest point to the highest point. As you can see, the lowest point this graph can get is keep going down, -infinity. Okay? That's a common mistake we always have. And the highest point this graph can get is 8. And it's an open circle, as you can see. So there are two things that you can get rid of because it should have 8. You can get rid of this 2. So it's going to be either one of these two, which you will get. This one is open circle, so that should be your solution. I mean, this one you can also get rid of because this is open circle, right? So you could get rid of A and B as well. So it's pretty easy. And as you can see, mathematicians are not going to write -infinity. They will just write this one down. And you don't even have to flip it because y comes first already. So now try this question by yourself. This one can be a bit challenging. Again, you're trying to find the range. You're going to look at lowest point to the highest point. Usually people think that you're going to do like this. That's the common mistake. But remember, this is not the lowest point. This is the lowest point, right? This part of the graph goes lower than this point. So that's the lowest point. And this is the highest point because this point is higher than here. So technically this one is from -2 to what? High, like this. So that should be the solution, and as you can see, it's not here. All right. If you choose 0 to 6, like this one, that's no. That's a very common mistake that people have. So now we're gonna do questions like this. Now, due to time, I don't want to go over every single question, so I'll just go over questions on the left and questions on the right. Maybe I will write down the answer and make you to check by yourself, right? Maybe at the end. Here, what is the domain? Again, domain is x values and it's a discrete. So we start from the -1. Oh, you can cross this two out because it's a discrete, not a line. So, and we only use this inequality symbol for the continuous. So answer should be either A or B. So we start from the -1, 1, 2, and 4. And to me, this one should be the solution. Try question number 6 by yourself. Which one can you eliminate already? All right, question number 7. A worker is renting a truck. The graph shows the cost in dollar for renting truck after X hours. So X values is time, as always. What is the range of the function of this situation? So we are looking for the range. So it should start with 40. So if it says 0, you can get rid of it and says all real number. Where does it start? 40. That's the lowest point. Include it. And keep going to infinity, right? Because it's an arrow. So it says all real number greater than or equal to 40. That should be the solution. All real number less than 220, like this point? No. All real number less than 9. Where did you get the 9 from? Oh, here. Remember, this one is not end point. This is an arrow. So just keep going down. Keep going up. Now try this question by yourself. But this one, it has 2 end points. So you have to be careful, okay? All right. Let's look at this question. What is the domain of the function? Now, whenever you have function without graph like that, what you have to do is you just put this one into decimals. Okay? Y equals 6x plus 2. And as you can see, this x values keep going to the left and keep going to the right, isn't it? Because you don't see any endpoint. Usually functions in algebra 1, for the domain at least, only domain, it's gonna be all real number if you don't have any graph, okay? Let's keep that in mind. And what is the range of the function of this? So, by the way, graph this and try it by yourself, okay? And this function sign, you can change it with y, that's fine. So what's the range? It's obvious as well. I think it's all real number as well because it's linear. Negative 0.25x minus 12. As you can see, there's no lowest value and or no highest value. It's keep going down, keep going up, right? So this one is going to be all real number as well, right? This one is going to be a bit different. This one, if you graph it, it's going to graph like this, okay? And domain is going to be, yes, domain is going to be all real number because it's keep going to the left, keep going to the right, but we are looking for the range. And range should be just y equals -7. Because y cannot be -8, y cannot be -6. It will just stay at -7, like that, okay? Here, we have this ordered pair. What's the domain of the function? Ordered pair, you just circle the domain, x values, right? And if you align it with the and range, we only have -2, right? So it's gonna be this. Now, question number 15. A function take an input means x value, number, of a light bulb package in a day and produce output means y value, approximately number of defective bulbs. Which option best describes the domain of the function? Now, you are talking about light bulbs. Is that countable or cannot count? You can count 1 light bulb, 2 light bulb, 3 light bulbs. So it should be integers, but it cannot be negative integers because it cannot be all real number, it cannot be all integers because you cannot have -1 light bulbs, -2 light bulbs, you cannot do that. So it should be non-negative integers, not real numbers. If you want to have like real numbers, you should have something like 1.5 light bulbs, stuff like that. Alright, we're almost done. 3 more questions to go. For certain function, like this one, value of x represents the length of the side of the square. So we have a square, x. This one does not look like square, so let me draw it a bit nicer. and value y represents the area, okay, of the square. So since it is square, length and width, they are same. Which option describes the range of the function? Oh, now you're trying to find what's the range, right? First of all, range does not have to be, it's really depending on x, like what x is. And the thing is, you cannot have negative number for the side because you cannot really have like negative 2 inches. There's no such thing as like negative 2 inches or negative 5 inches, stuff like that. So it should be non-negative real numbers. It does not have to be integers because it's possible for you to have 1.5 inch, right? Question number 19. The total cost in dollar to buy uniform for the soccer team players can be found using the function like this. So you can read through and says, what is the domain of the function for this situation? So you're trying to find domain, x values, okay? X is the number of uniform purchased. So X is the number of uniform purchased for minimum of 16 players, at most 20. So think yourself, is it discrete or continuous? Can you have 16.5 players? Definitely we cannot. So it's gonna be discrete. So we can get rid of this 2. Your answer is gonna be either this or this. Domain X represents what? Number of uniforms. So we have 16 players, and Y value stands for the price. This one is the domain because this one is the X value. This one is the price, right? Price of the uniforms total, Y value. So it's gonna be C. It's gonna be same thing here. Question number 20, if you look at it, N represents the number of kits purchased. So can you have 1.5 kits? Can you buy like 3.5 kits? No. So you can get rid of this. It's gonna be either F or G. What's the question asking? Domain or range? Domain. So it's gonna be this. If it was asking for the range, you should have this one because range, like C value, should be the price. All right, here we go. Last one. A student lives 3 miles from library and he's riding his bike to the library. The distance he has remaining, y, is function of how long he has been riding his bike. What is the range of the function? Oh, so here is the home and here's the library, okay? And it's 3 miles, right? Now, so we are trying to find the range, which means what's the distance? Because if you look at the, oh, here, this one is gonna be better. So this one is the time, this one is the mile, up to 3 miles. Now, we are trying to find the range here, okay? So obviously we start from the 0 because you cannot go below 0 for the distance. So it should start from the 0. So it's gonna be either this, this, this. Now, distance, is it a discrete or continuous? Just ask yourself, can you have 1.5 miles? Yes, you can. So therefore, you can delete this discrete option. So it's gonna be either A or D. Now, if you choose A, that means as long as you can go just past like that, which does not make sense because you want to stop at the library, which is 3 miles away, right? At here, you want to stop it here. So it should be like that because you should stop at the library. So it should be D, right? All right, now it's your turn to try question number 22. If you look at it, the number of pins that will be left standing. So yeah, it's a bowling, not bowling. There's a pins, like pins means something that looks like this. Like when you bowl, you're trying to like. It looks a bit ugly, so I'm not gonna draw it. Yeah. It's not gonna work. So yeah, never mind. You know what pins is, right? So there are pins. Is it discrete or continuous? Can you have 1.5 pins? No. So it's gonna be this. So what is it gonna be? When you throw a ball, Is it possible that you knock down 0 pins? Yes, if you're stuck at it, your bowling ball is gonna go to somewhere in the corner, and that's what it means. So yep, it's gonna be F, because it is possible that you can, like, what's it called? You literally just missed the bowling ball. Right, that's it for this chapter. If you have any questions, just let me know. I think I went over most of the questions. So yep, see you guys.